Hello everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's video lesson, we're going to be working with raw umber. Now, I put out a swatch out here to show you. I don't use raw umber a lot in paintings. I do use it to either tint a canvas or prepare it for, let's say, use it as a monochrome type of study in preparation for an oil painting. But by itself, I don't use it very often as a color because it is quite dull. Now, in first glance at this, all to me it looks like is a grayish brown. So it should be fairly simple to make this, right? Depending on the brand of paint that you're looking at, umbers, actually any of the pigments, are processed in different ways. So the color, so a raw umber from DecoArt will not be the same as a raw umber from any other brand. It may be similar, may be different, because they all have their own ways of processing it. The way that DecoArt manufactures their what I call earth tone colors, to me, they're more in tune with nature, which is why I really like their pigments. There's nothing more frustrating than, when you're stuck and you have to go to an art store, and the art store in downtown Hamilton doesn't carry DecoArt. So if I'm out of a paint and I'm stuck and I have to pick it up, and I pick up, let's say, a burnt sienna in brand X, and it's not even close. So it drives me crazy. So by learning how to mix a pigment that's like an alternative, so I did some videos on what happens if you run out of yellow ochre, what happens if you run out of burnt sienna, which is a biggie for me, what happens if you run out of burnt umber. You can mix them with a limited palette. So I've never created a mix to simulate raw umber. So this is going to be a first for me. So what I put out on the palette is, it's all under the DecoArt Traditions line because it's nice and thick. Titanium white, carbon black. I have no idea if I'm going to need carbon black, and you probably can't see it. It's right here. And then as to the blues, reds, and yellows, I don't know, so I put them all out. Phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, permanent alizarin crimson, Napthol red light, Hansa yellow light, and yellow oxide. And yes, Hansa yellow light is safe from the chopping block for now. And a couple of the other videos, I was contemplating getting rid of Derelid yellow and Hansa yellow light and substituting it just for Hansa yellow. But it's safe for now. All right, so I'm thinking, well, to make any neutral using primary colors, and you notice I have 2 blues, 2 reds, 2 yellows. Phthalo blue is blue that leans towards green. Ultramarine blue is a blue that leans towards violet. Permanent alizarin crimson is a red that leans towards violet. Napthol red light is a red that leans towards orange. Hansa yellow light is a yellow that leans towards green. And yellow oxide really doesn't lean towards anything. It's I call it a neutral. Okay, it's a bit more orange. It leans, and typically here's where I would have Derelid yellow, but I didn't want to include it in this one because I'm thinking yellow ochre or yellow oxide might be how I'm going to make it. To get any type of neutral, you just mix the primaries together and then adjust it, and boom, there you go. But which neutral? So I'm going to start off, what's the closest thing this goes towards? Well, when I think of a color on my palette, I'm thinking it just naturally goes to black. I'm not going to start with black. That's crazy. What I am going to start with, though, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to start with yellow oxide. And then I know that I have to go with a red and a blue, but which one? So I'm going to start off with my regulars. So yellow oxide. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go with some Napthol red light and then a little bit of ultramarine blue. Let's see what we get. Okay, it's still pretty reddish. I'm going to bring a little bit more in there. What we need to do is we need to get an orange, and then from the orange, we will get our neutral. Not even close. So we may have to add black to this, because this is pretty dark. This is pretty dark. No, I'm thinking, no, I don't think this is gonna cut it. This is still too brown. This is still way too brown. Not even close. That's a pretty brown, but not even close. So, oh, we need to add white. Oh yeah, look at that brown. This is a pretty tan color. Not even close. It's still gray. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe we better add a little bit of black to that. Maybe we better add a little bit of black to that. Let's see what we get. Nope. Bit more. And the unstick mat makes it a little bit more difficult to match the color. Oh, we're getting there. This actually, from here, right here, this looks black. That looks black. Hum, hum, hum. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Look at what we got here. Okay, well that was easy and I really didn't need to put the other colors out, did I? Well, I'm not going to finish the lesson after 6 minutes. Okay, what I'll do is I'll make the colors with all the other stuff, all the other paints as well. I'll see what I can come up with. Oh my God, I ran out. I honestly didn't think it would be that easy. All right, well, so what we did with this is we had yellow oxide, Napthol red light, ultramarine blue, and then carbon black. And this is the mix. Well, okay. I would like to know if I could create this mixture without adding black to it. I would like to know if I can make this mixture without adding black. I'm going to get a fresh brush. So let's say, I know that this is going to extreme, I know that you can get a chromatic black with ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. We're not using burnt sienna. I know you can make burnt sienna with phthalo blue, Napthol red light, and Hansa yellow light. Then it gets to the point, we're doing an awful lot of mixing just to get raw umber. Okay, so this exercise is simply to see if we can do it. In case you need raw umber and let's say you don't have yellow oxide, and you don't have Napthol red light, and you don't have ultramarine blue. If you don't have those colors, you shouldn't be painting. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be painting. They're basic colors. All right, so let's see. If we want to, let's make an orange. And to that orange, let's add a little bit of phthalo blue. Oh, too much. Oh, no, maybe we're good. A bit more. I don't think we're going to get the desaturation is like lack of color. I don't think we're going to get it without adding black. I don't think we're going to get that without adding black. A little bit of ultramarine blue in there now. Oh, here we go. I still don't think so. No. If we add white to that, it's still too brown. It's still too brown. Can try adding a little bit more phthalo blue. Oh, way too much. Giselle, what are you doing? Oh, that's turquoise. That's a turquoise. Boom, there you go. There's another color for you. You're welcome. I gotta change my brush. I don't want to. Ay. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to add black to this. I don't think we can get away with it. We have to desaturate the color. Desaturating the color is just to get rid of. Oh, wait. Still a bit red. Still a little bit red. Let's bring a bit more phthalo in there. So I've had to use now phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, napthol red light, and Hansa yellow light. And I didn't clean my brush, and now I have white in this. I don't think it's still too warm. No, that's still a little bit red. So, thinking the closest mix that we're going to get is with the ultramarine blue, naphtha red light, and yellow oxide. Mind you, this mix, though, is okay. Let's now try with alizarin crimson, permanent alizarin crimson, yellow oxide. Get that desaturated a little bit. And I'm going to see, okay, so alizarin crimsons are red, phthalo blue leans towards blue, or leans towards green. So let's see if no, we're going to have to add black to this. With these colors anyways, we're going to have to add black to this. And I can keep going. That's actually pretty nice right there. Still too brown. Still too brown. See, it all depends on the actual color you have, like the type of red, the type of blue, and the type of yellow. That's actually pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close right there. Yeah, that's pretty close actually. Okay, so with that, oh, I just got paint all over my laptop. Permanent alizarin crimson, yellow oxide, and phthalo blue also made it. Is it worth going through that hassle? No, not really. You know, unless you have a need. Unless you have a need to make raw umber is one of the least expensive, not least expensive, one of the less expensive pigments out there. There really isn't any reason that you have to color mix that, but it's nice to know how if you run out of paint. All right, so that was made with yellow oxide, permanent alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, and then carbon black. So what the coinky dinky thing is that yellow oxide for sure, and carbon black. So with the two mixes that I made, it didn't really matter which red and which blue. Except this one here, I can see now as it's drying, a little bit of red in it. So maybe a bit too much alizarin crimson in there. Right there, you should be able to see that. Okay. So I'm going to leave the lesson at this point, because really when you start getting down to it as to, you know, like at one point here, I had both yellows in there, the red, and then using both blues, and that's crazy. That's crazy. So in all the years that I've been painting, there was never ever a need for me to go nuts not having raw umber. Burnt sienna, yeah, that's one thing. Even burnt umber a little bit, that's one thing, but never raw umber. It's because it's really dull. It's really dull and it's very flat. But like I said, to do a monochrome, you can use it. But if I have to create a monochrome, I make my own black. I make a chromatic black to do a monochrome. That way I can shift it a bit more towards a brown by using 2 parts burnt sienna and 1 part ultramarine blue. Or I can make it more of a bluish gray using 2 parts ultramarine blue and 1 part burnt sienna. So there's really no need for me to have raw umber. So I am going to leave that lesson with you for you to try on your own. So your homework will be to take your red, your yellow, and your blue and try to make up your own mixture. I'm going to clean up while I'm talking so I don't waste time. To make up try your own mixtures with your own red, blue, and yellow, and see what you can come up with. And this may be a good time for when, if your mixture is not pure, that may be an advantage to you, because the really, I call it dirty color. So when a color is more contaminated, not contaminated, but when it has a lot of fillers in it, a bunch of different mixtures, that actually may be a benefit, because it's, you know, when you mix blues, reds, and yellows together, you do get natural colors. Oh, chaos. Alrighty, so that was a quick lesson, 16 and a half minutes. So I'm going to leave you with that. Again, so a tip, if you have to have raw umber, buy it. Don't waste time making it. But now you know, by just taking yellow oxide, carbon black, and then a red and a blue, there you go. You can go and experiment with that. Alrighty, so I'm going to leave you with this. I would love to see the charts that you make up. So please share them in the private Facebook group. And if you have a question specifically on this lesson, please post in the comment box below the video. I look and answer to every single question and comment regarding the lessons. So I'm going to clean up, and I'm going to work on the next lesson after I feed Chaos. And then there's a surprise after the next lesson. Oh, Chaos came for a visit. So until I see you in that video, stay inspired.